electro funk, R&B, and the beginning of dance music. This show digs in where it all started. The roots of hip-hop, breakdance, electric music, rhythm radio, the rolling 808, freestyle dance. You're listening to the Old School Rewind with Randy Bubba Black on the Podcaster Online Network, Facebook.com/Old School Rewind, and at oldschoolrewind.com.
Today, the architect of West Coast hip-hop, creator of the world-class Wreckin' Crew, Grandmaster Lonzo.
You say 1 for the trouble, 2 for the time. Come on, y'all, let's
Bubba Black here, the Old School Rewind podcast produced every week. The show notes are found at oldschoolrewind.com. Feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Please come back often. You can also follow me on Facebook at Old School Rewind. All the links are in the show notes. So let's get started. All right, the song Movin' playing in the background right now. Lonzo Williams, what does that song mean to you?
Man, that song means a whole lot to me, dude. I was a big brass construction fan back in the day. I love horns and that moving bass line. And that's what made me name my DJ company, Disco Construction, me being such a big fan of brass construction.
And that's where it all starts right there.
Yes, sir.
Disco Construction was a street promotion team. What did you do there?
Man, we went around doing parties at various places. Back then, the term mobile DJ hadn't been coined yet. And I guess I was the first mobile DJ in LA, and I was constantly working. I didn't have a lot of competition. I spent all my time, man, doing parties, bar mitzvahs, wherever they had electricity and needed a DJ, I was there.
And they didn't have the internet back then, so you had to go and grind and work it.
You know what? I was kind of lucky, man. I learned how to cheat at an early age. One of my friend's dad owned a print shop. And what I would do, I'd go to the print shop after hours and thumb through everybody who was getting married or having a birthday party, who was making invitations.
Slick.
And I called them up. You got a DJ yet? Oh, no, we didn't think about that. Because back then, people were just playing records at their house.
Man, that's the ultimate grind. I don't know if I've ever heard that before. That's the what year are you talking? Because back then, that was
Man, we're talking about 77, 78.
Oh, man.
I mean, I was one of the few cats that had 2 turntables and a mixer, and I had access to a sound system, and I wanted to stay busy, and that's what I started doing. I figured out a way to book gigs, and usually at a wedding reception back then, the DJ was the last thing that you thought about.
The kind of work you were doing there, you went into a place called the Record Shack. So how did this all put itself together?
You know, I was actually trying to buy records from Record Shack, and I called up trying to buy some records. They wouldn't sell them to me. I had to have a resale license. But the guy who answered the phone, his name was Alonzo also, and he took a liking to me when he found out what my name was. And I remember I just met my partner, Roger Clayton, and he had just got laid off from Licorice Pizza or one of the big record stores, Warehouse. And I turned him on to the gig, and a few weeks later, he turned me on to the gig in the Warehouse. So, just by doing that, I stayed in the loop.
And what'd you do there in the Warehouse? Come on, man. Bring it. Bring it.
We talking about the 70s, right? So
that's right.
Man, we was rolling around there on roller skates, high as hell, off some of the best, some of the best.
What did they call it back then?
Man, if you can get hold to some Colombian,
Cheech and Chong, Colombian,
or some Thai stick.
Oh, that's right, Thai stick.
If you can find Thai stick, you were in get high heaven. Okay.
Well, it was a disco era, man. So
Michoacan, man, Acapulco Gold, man. I even smoked that tight stick, Tight stick? Yeah, that stuff is tied to a stick,
Tight stick.
Yeah, that didn't even do nothing to me, man. I could probably smoke this whole joint, man, and still walk away, man. Wouldn't be no problem at all, man.
Crazy part about it was, weed was totally illegal. I mean, it was a felony back then. People were still going to prison for having joints, okay? And we still did it anyway, man. We had a ball. Rolling through the Warehouse, high, couldn't hardly see, but hey, we had a good time, man.
Get the records off the shelf and then ship them off.
Drop them off in the shipping department, roll back and get another order, roll back through there again.
No OSHA.
No, hell no. No OSHA back then.
What music was going in the warehouse at that time?
You know, it was a strange musical time, man, because you got Parliament Funkadelic, Slave, but you also got the Bee Gees. You got Rod Stewart. This is when everybody was kind of feeling themselves. A lot of your radio stations played everything. If it was funky, they played it.
Right.
They didn't care if it was black, blue-eyed soul or what.
Right.
They just played it. So we grew up into everything. Even as a DJ, I'd play Doobie Brothers right behind Parliament Funkadelic. It was no big deal.
Sounds like a good soundtrack for a brother's life.
Oh, man, you know what? I can't get mad about nothing, dude. I had a ball. I'm having a ball. I can't say they ain't over. I'm having a ball, dude.
Hey, for those who don't know who Grandmaster Lonzo is, and you're here on my first podcast, Lonzo, tell everybody who you are.
Well, you know what? I'm the architect of West Coast hip-hop. A lot of people don't know me because I'm not a famous rapper or a producer. When it comes to paving the way for West Coast hip-hop, 21 years old. At 19, I started DJing. By the time I turned 21, I had my own nightclub. By the time I was 23, I was promoting shows like Curtis Blow, Run DMC. So I brought all these guys to the West Coast for the first time. If it wasn't for me, they never would have saw the Pacific Ocean. So I had my DJ crew in the club that consisted of guys that people don't even know yet. I mean, I got to give these guys some love. We had Billy T, Sweet Ron, DJ Unknown, Dr. Rock. This was my first crew. Later came on DJ Yella, Dr. Dre, Clientele, and by doing this right here, man, it was so much other stuff that had to be done. And because I'm a megalomaniac, I wore a lot of hats, and I still do right to this day, man. So I had to do a whole lot of stuff to make things happen. And that's why I'm the godfather, a.k.a. the architect of West Coast hip-hop.
Who else was out there at the time? Egyptian Lover?
Egyptian Lover, he was a client of Eve After Dark. If I had, man, a DNA swab of all the people that came to Eve After Dark, oh man, it would be like an SVU episode. Egypt was coming up. Uncle Jam's Army was coming up. Most of the guys who are prominent now were kids back then. I mean, you know, I'm like maybe, I don't know, 8 years older than Egypt. Egypt might have been 15 or 16 when he was coming to the Eve After Dark. So these guys are all being inspired by what we were doing.
So I'm 11 years younger than you. I'm 50.
Okay.
That places me in 84, my sophomore year in high school.
Okay.
Yeah. I spoke with Doc Ice from UTFO on the podcast,
Okay.
and we're going to have that one coming up. I asked him, did you think that there was a bunch of white kids rocking? He was on the East Coast. Did you think there were a bunch of kids over in California, 14 years old, rocking your shit? And he said, we really never thought about it. And to think about it today, it's sort of funny that you say that. Did you think that you were going to hit the white kids immediately, or were you seeing it in the club, or I mean, because I'm 50, and I'd rather listen to something between 86 and 91. I'm stuck there, and I know you like the 90s stuff, and I'm more of a right there in the mid 80s, right at the front, man. T-La Rock and Flash and UTFO, and just everything was coming out. But I used to get your records here in town and the sound of the West Coast. Did you think you were hitting young white kids outside of LA?
We didn't realize we were so popular outside of LA. We're gigging in Louisiana, okay? I told my manager, Jerry Williams, that I wanted to make at least $5 to $10 grand a night gigging, okay? He was booking 2 shows a night for us. One show we did in Dallas, other show may have been in Louisiana. The second show was in Louisiana for sure, okay? The guys picked us up from the airport. Nobody smiled at us. All white guys, nobody smiled at us. It was like being in the Get Out. The Get Out, the movie. It was really a weird feeling. These people were not friendly at all. We got in the car, drove deep into the woods. When the lights hit the bushes, all you could see is little eyes going through the woods and stuff. And we were nervous as hell. We drove like maybe 45 minutes, and we didn't even see street lights.
And you're saying we, you mean the World Class Wrecking Crew?
World Class Wrecking Crew, Chitlin Circuit. It's me, Dre, Yella, and Shakespeare. We're driving into this little small club, and the club had a gravel driveway. Walked in the club, it had no roof and chicken wire around the stage.
Oh, like the Blues Brothers movie, like the Roadhouse movie.
Roadhouse and Blues Brothers had chicken wire on the front stage.
Yeah, okay.
So our manager's nickname was Swamp Dog. What in the hell does Swamp Dog book us in? We get there, we nervous. Because we're the only black people in the whole place. Room full of, looks like rednecks. Go on stage. First thing came out of some guy's mouth, where's the guitars at?
Oh, no.
Oh, shit. We hit the drum machine. All of a sudden, Surgery started playing.
Were you dressed in silk?
I had on my silk shit. When Surgery started playing, they knew every fucking word.
No, you're kidding me.
Dr. Dre.
Oh,
I'm like,
Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre.
by the time we hit Juice, they was up on the floor dancing. Nobody threw no beer bottles at us or nothing. I mean, I had no idea that we had that kind of love outside of California. I figured it was going to be one of the situations we had to run out of the club or whatever. They treated us like kings the whole night, man. It was ridiculous.
I'm one of them kids not outside of California. Since you're the architect of hip-hop on the West Coast, nobody denies that. How did you figure out at that time that putting out the fast music was going to do you right after the disco, funk era?
Well, we were DJs first and foremost, right. And we've been rocking crowds for 4 or 5 years, so we knew what people responded to. By this time, Soul Sonic Force came out with a couple of records, and there was some other stuff that we started playing a lot in the club. We figured that's the tempo to make people dance. That was not brain surgery at all. That was pretty easy. Just a matter of coming with something that they can relate to that we can produce.
Tell me about the AD rap.
EAD rap, Eve After Dark rap. Eve After Dark rap was a record that Von Masons and crew Rock Skate Roll Bounce. And it was me, Dr. Rock, DJ Unknown, and I think it's Ron. And we made the record, but we never released it because we always saw on the bottom of the record, on every record, federally protected by copyright, blah, blah, blah. Sure. We just knew at some point in time, we released this record illegally, that somebody will kick our door in and take us to jail in the middle of the night and never hear from us again. So we never released it. But I think I know. I'm looking for it. I got some archives here that I'm looking for. I would love to put my hands on it.
Slice. Tell me about Slice.
You know, Slice was a record that we did. It was all about DJ Yella. Clientele did the rap. Our first legitimate record, because I was a bootlegger for quite some time. We did a lot of underground mixes. People call them mixtapes now, but we was bootlegging, bottom line. I got tired of looking over my shoulder, and I decided to make a legitimate record. So I rented a drum machine, went into the studio, 8-track studio, and we made Slice. Clientele did the rap in one take, Yella did the beat, and we went in and out in about 45 minutes. My plan was to make a record about every member of the crew. We made one about Yella first, then we made Surgery about Dre, but we never got around to making Lonzo's record. So I may have to go back in the studio and fulfill my own prophecy and make my own record.
It was sort of patterned after Sucker MCs. That was sort of the thing back then.
Ripped off. You can't say pattern. More like ripped off Sucker MCs.
They cut the record down to the bone. Yella cut the record down to the bone. And now they got me rocking on the microphone. And Lon's got me rocking on the microphone. Yeah, he can cut so fast. He's lightning quick, because all it takes is just a flick of
it might have been aluminum or wood, but it gave us a start.
You were a bootlegger, and that's not about booze. How did you become a bootlegger?
We would actually buy these mixes for the club out of New York. My boy, Unknown DJ, he knew where this record store was in Hollywood. They got all the records from New York. And he would bring these records, and they were mixed records. They'd have some hot cuts in there, but some of the cuts weren't that great for the club. So we couldn't play them. So we decided to start making our own. And that's how we got started. And once we started it, we had to buy some turntables, and we had to buy some 1200 turntables, 4-track recorder. And because I had the experience from the distribution, I was able to go out throughout the day and sell them to all the record stores and the swap meets, and it just blew up. I mean, it was like, wow. Nobody ever done this before. I mean, I'm one of the first. I'm the original bootlegger. So we sell so many records Monday through Friday. I didn't want to go to the club on Friday or Saturday night. I had so much money. It was like, I just go make some more money. But it was really an interesting time, man, until all of a sudden people figured out our formula and everybody started scratching, and it kind of died out. We moved on to something else.
You were doing sales after the warehouse there. How did you start off?
Well, when I left abruptly, and the only thing I had a chance to grab was my sales list. Don't know why I took it. I had no idea if I'd ever need it again, but I just took it. When I'd call stores up, people remember my voice, and my name was kind of unique, Lonzo. And they never saw me before. Right. And I told them what I was doing. They gave me an opportunity to sell records to them, which was kind of a task within itself, because independent record stores don't like buying from individuals because they can't return the record. Records have a 100% return policy. Once you give them the money, people disappear. And once they disappear, their money is kind of stuck. They're kind of stuck with product they can't sell and no money. So because I came from Record Shack, they gave me opportunity, but they didn't give most guys. And because I stayed consistent with my product, I became the go-to guy for all the other guys that came behind me. When Eazy and Egyptian Lover and other folks wanted to get into the swap meets or some of the stores, they came to Lonzo because Lonzo had to rapport with the swap meets and the record stores.
Some of my most prized possessions, Lonzo. I got to tell you this. I'm not sucking up either, man. I dug you out. I wanted you to be on the first show because when I was going through my 12-inch sleeves, some of the best pieces that I have is the artwork for the records that you guys did. And it was a guy named Daryl Davis. Tell me about Daryl Davis.
Daryl Davis is a buddy of mine. He lives in Compton. We both went to Gardena High School, and he would do all our flyers for our dance.
Hey, you don't got a cute nickname for him like everybody else?
His nickname was Lil Rad.
Oh, Lil Rad. Okay.
Lil Rad.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
That's Daryl spelled backwards.
Okay.
And,
all right.
Back then.
Don't make it difficult. Make it easy, man. Serious.
Yeah. Woo. Graphic designers back then had to have.
It's good you're not Onzo.
Hey, wait. That
might have been your record company, Onzo Records.
I do have a pseudonym called Osnall. Okay. If you see Osnall, that's Lonzo spelled backwards. Okay.
All right, tell me about Lil Rad.
Lil Rad was the neighborhood cat. He did all the flyers for all the dance promoters back in the day. When we moved into the record business, we started having him do. He'd never done an album cover before. But we hired him. In fact, I hired him first to start doing my album covers. He's a very talented cat, and everything you've ever seen him do was pretty much freehand with a little rub-on lettering. Okay, but he is a true artist. There was no computer, there was no Photoshop back then. There was no whatever. You gave him your concept, he'd do a hand sketch of it and come back in a couple of days, and he'd have your finished product. And that's how we did it.
I mean, it's incredible artwork. The finger cutting into on slice. I mean, it's just so colorful and animated, and it was different. And it was just like the music. It was cool. Tell me about CIA.
CIA actually started off being the stereo crew. I keep forgetting about that. CIA consisted of Jinx, KD, and Ice Cube. I met those guys. They're like 15 years old. And when Wrecking Crew got signed to CBS, our executive producer, Larkin Arnold, asked me, did we have any more groups? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Maybe okay. I saw these guys a couple weeks prior at World on Wheels. They took second place in this K-Day contest. I asked if they want to do something. They said, yeah. Drake came to the studio, hooked him up with a beat. I took the beat to CBS. They bid it for a single deal. Shortly after that, we all got dropped.
Oh, no. They signed you, then dropped you?
They signed us, kept us for about a year, and kicked us out like nuclear waste. But when they left, just to make sure, just to keep everything in order, they changed their name from Stereo Crew to CIA. Now, I just saw this episode in, I think it was Fire Ones. Ice Cube said they wanted CIA stood for Criminals in Action. I don't remember that part. It stood for Crew in Action. They did a 3-song EP on Crew Cut Records, which is my label. If you listen to the record, and now here's the part that really killed me on Straight Outta Compton. When you saw Straight Outta Compton, you had Cube, me getting mad at Dre for allowing Cube to do a gangster record in Compton. Never happened. Cube was with Crew Cut Records. All their songs, they sound just like the Beastie Boys.
Ice Cube in effect, and I'm the bossy leader. Love
Priority Records. The first thing they did was bought that master from me. The first thing they did. They didn't want him to have nothing to do with that record.
Oh, the guys that it why? I don't know, cause I am Daryl. But I'm not Joe. Posse what to the mic? Ice Cube. That's you. Kid D. That's me. I'm Posse too.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Some of the secrets to the early stuff you guys were doing, and we discussed, sort of scraped it, was a parody or a bite record. And then the real Roxanne, all of that. The John Wayne, the Ronnie Reagan. Tell me about the parody raps and why they were so successful at that time. Because I don't think people understand the playfulness of hip-hop. It wasn't always guns and shootings and motherfucker. And
most of the people that were in hip-hop, Wrecking Crew, Russ Parr,
Rap Sir Records,
Bobby Jimmy. We like ugly women.
I'm old school.
Bobby Jimmy, this is Bobby Jimmy on the microphone. Gonna get down, but I'm not alone.
We like ugly women because we just don't care. Yeah. Woo. Roaches. Oh, no, that's on.
No, that's right. You're right.
Look at all these roaches around me every day. Need something strong to make them go away.
LA Dream Team.
Rockberry, jam.
Ladies and gentlemen, the dream team.
Most of us are wannabe comedians or entertainers, and the parody records gave us a chance to let that inner comedian, have a shine a little taste. And it was a lot of fun. Because back then, hip hop was fun. It was a whole new genre. Nobody had shot nobody yet. There was some little beef between the real Roxanne and Roxanne Shante, and I think UTFO picked a fight with somebody. But for the most part, everybody was out to have fun and make money. It was not about shooting and killing.
There's something where Snoop Dogg's talking about cockroaches on the internet. Every time I see that thing, I think about roaches on the wall, man.
Roaches on the wall. We don't need no raid.
Let them motherfuckers
crawl.
Crawl, motherfuckers, crawl. CIA and Ice Cube thing. What years are we talking about now?
Oh, you stretching my brain here, man. I've been fighting with these dates and years for the last 4 or 5 years, because it's all went by so fast, man. I have to find a reference point to lock in that date. I think it had to be about 86, 87.
When did you drop House Calls?
Dropped House Calls same time. We left CBS. The first thing we did was in the studio, and we all dropped 3-song EPs. House Calls.
Hello, this is Dr. Dre. I'm not in right now, but if you leave your name and number at the sound of the beep, I'll be sure to give you a call as soon as I return.
Hello, Dre. This is Patricia. My husband's out of town, and I was wondering, do you make house calls?
Riding in my car alone, not doing anything. Stopped the answering service because I knew my phone would ring. Heard it ring once, so I picked it up and said hello. It's Dr. Dre, baby, not your average gigolo. Cause I make house calls. It's Dr. Dre, the maniac.
Say, fool, you left your driver's license over here last night. Now I'm gonna have to whoop your ass.
Must be the music.
Dance, everybody, and everybody just clap your hands. With Lonzo, Yella, Shakespeare, and my name is Dr. Dre. It's called Must Be the Music, but it's done the world class.
And Cabbage Patch on the same EP.
Went to a party in West LA. Wanna learn a new dance, that's what
Listen
you
to that,
say.
man. I love the sound of Cabbage Patch. Again, playful and cool and sounded good in separates. California kid, right? We had to have our separates. And Cabbage Patch sounded just like Run DMC. Listen to this.
Peter Piper, pick peppers, but run rock, rhyme, Humpty, fell
Peter
down.
Piper.
That's his art. Time.
Cabbage Patch played right into the bass. Talk about Cabbage Patch.
Cabbage Patch, about this time, man, people might not know about this, but the dance already in the streets. And we ran in and made a song to match the dance because nobody had done that. That was something else we did a lot of. Back then, people would create dances. Whoever was able to make a song to match the dance usually had a chance to ride that wave while the dance was hot. And we did that with Cabbage Patch. We had the Cabbage Patch. We had the Fly. even has a song that nobody even heard of called The Funky Chicken. And I don't even have one of those.
Yeah. To do this dance, you gotta get a little dumb. Just move your left leg, then move your right one. It's the hottest dance around and think of licking, yeah. So everybody do the dance called the funky chicken.
Man, and that corn on the cob too. Yeah, I take it. 2 biscuits.
Hip-hop was much more fun back then. It was a good time for us in our lives, man. You know, wasn't nobody dying back then. We were just having a good time, making money and making friends. You know, you got guys like Rapid Duke,
So you
Cool
think
D,
you're bad with your
Roxanne
rap? Well, I'll tell
Shante,
you,
Force
Pilgrim, I started
and
the crap
nobody beat.
when you
We
were
were
in diapers and
we made
weighing
money. We hung
machines.
out
I
together.
was at the
You know, you got
Ponderosa
guys like
rapping to the
Rapid
beat.
We're all on tour together. In fact, Rappin' Duke, I've talked to him recently.
If you ever see Rappin' Duke again, you might mention to him, we talked with Cosmo D on the podcast. He's going to be on in the next few weeks from Nucleus. And when he went in to pitch Wiki Wiki Rap, he wanted it to be a country western, like a John Wayne type thing where they're going to come in and save the town against a bunch of whack rappers. They told him, you can't make fun of John Wayne. He's an American hero.
Wow.
Man, didn't you fly with Rappin' Duke right off the gate? He goes, oh, shit, no, I didn't. I should have said that. I wish I would have thought of that back then, he said. It sure has transferred into some depressing stuff, hasn't it, Lonzo?
I don't know, dude. You need a Xanax just to get through.
I think they're all on smoking Xanax or something. They've all found new ways to party, man. These kids, I just can't understand hip-hop, man. Crazy.
I still own a club right now. I own my first nightclub. I went back about 9 years ago. I've been on this corner off and on for 40 years, dude. I've given thousands of dances, not hundreds, thousands. I've been doing this for a long time. And I've watched the party and attitude change so much. Back in the day, the room would be sweating with people partying and dancing. Now, everybody pretty much likes to smoke some weed and get on their phone and just chill. And that's why, and I think the music reflects that. You know, you have a table full of girls, everybody on their phone. The DJ will drop what they consider the cut. And they'll take their phones and wave them in the air. Hey, that's my song. Back then, man, there was no records about shooting and baby mama drama. We didn't have that kind of stuff, man. It was all about get up, make it happen. You know, even the records about drugs were very disguised. I mean, we had Mary Jane.
I'm in love with Mary Jane. She's my main thing. She makes me feel alright.
White Horse, laid back.
White Horse.
There you go. That's the undercover right there.
If you want to ride, don't ride the white horse. If you want to ride, don't ride the white horse.
We knew what it was about, but, you know, if you were a kid, you could sing the song and nobody, you know, nobody know what you were talking about. You didn't know what you were talking about. Your mama may have known, but you didn't know. And even with songs like Mary Jane by Rick James, that was the big debate for a long time, you know. And here nowadays, everybody's like this blunt. Here it is.
Back in the day, we still like to have a ballad so, you know, we can break down and get next to the girls.
Yeah. You know, it's amazing, man, that that's what Wrecking Crew did. Even as DJs at the club, we had to play slow jam. Back in the day, man, you know, the guys can wrap his arms around the girl's waist. She can wrap her arms around the guy's neck. He start talking to it. If nothing else, she can smell his badass breath, okay? But nowadays, you know, you wrap your arms around somebody's waist, you might get you a sexual harassment case right there in the club.
I saw the Defiant ones, and you had the cameo there. Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre story about how they're at Apple now, where they started 4-part series, runs on HBO. Cameo in that. I see you in Surviving Compton. The story's been told and Straight Outta Compton. I'm missing a few movies here. Tell me about them.
Evolution of Hip Hop, Welcome to Death Row, Roots.
Without you, there was no Dre. None of this stuff would have happened. You are the studio without an invite, without you friended up with Andre. None of that stuff would have happened. I don't understand. I don't see how they don't tell your side of the story more. And I mean, I think in the Michelle A. movie, Surviving Compton, there was a little bit more of the story told where I'll get into it in just a minute. I want to ask you a little bit about, it appears, and I think I'd be the same way, that because of what you believed in, that you stayed behind or got left behind. I don't even like to use that word. And you were doing, and time maybe sort of stopped. Does that still affect you today?
Not really. Understand this. I spent the first chapter of my book getting people to understand Lonzo, okay? You know, I'm 8 years older than Dre. I just turned 60. I was born in the 50s. I was raised in the 60s on Temptations, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and ain't no way in the world you could have told me that at some point in time, with that kind of background, that one day calling women bitches and hoes and grabbing your balls on stage would ever be popular on the radio or popular in music. You know, and I tell people all the time, it's real hard to, even now, if you went back to the 90s, when Tupac and N.W.A. and Public Enemy and all these groups, LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee, all these folks were lyricists, you couldn't tell nobody at that point in time that in 2017, we'd be having guys mumbling on records with no danceability, and that would be the bomb, okay? You couldn't have told us you couldn't have told these people back in 1994, when hip-hop was probably at its heyday for me, Tupac and Biggie. I mean, you ain't nobody in the world you could have told nobody back then that, by 2017, we won't even have lyrics. We just have people.
And we're going to sing songs about smoking crack, and on the video, we're going to talk about it and show you next to the stove cooking.
Right. Stuff that N.W.A. went through just with their little, you know, in their mid-career by saying "fuck the police," got them national attention and an FBI letter. I mean, these guys nowadays are giving you the recipe to cocaine, telling you to smoke weed, mollies, and Percocet, whatever. It's become commercials about pharmaceutical drugs. You know, now they need the disclaimer. These drugs would either penitentiary or whatever the case may be.
Boys in the Hood was done with you in your studio. Not really a gangster record, but because it has the title Boys in the Hood, maybe the connotation is that that's a gangster record, but it's really not, is it, Lonzo?
Not at all. Gangster, I mean, at that time, the early N.W.A., people forget the early N.W.A. was not gangsterish at all. They just was more street than gangster. And that's why when people say, "Oh man, you hated gangster rap," no, understand, I never heard gangster rap till the second album. They weren't gangsters till the second album. Remember they had the song on the first album, "Express Yourself"?
Of course, I don't smoke weed or cess because it's known to give a brother brain damage. Yeah, come on, man.
So
him and Cube, Cube too, man. Cube playing cops, Ice-T playing cops. Those guys, man, they're just. It's a weird one for me. I love them and I love their music, but that's a weird one. Only the people that know, or only the people that pay attention know.
I think that's something that happens when you get to a certain point. You have to tone yourself down and become a part of the establishment to get your money. You can't be a 50-year-old gangster rapper, you know, still talking the same thing you talked about in 1994. And that's not going to work.
They didn't become gangster rappers till the second album. And they had some issues on there, like Fuck the Police, of course, the Mother record. Tell me the backstory. You know it.
I know where all the bodies are buried. I still got the shovel. I tell the story in the Defiant Ones, and it's a true story. Where I live is right by the freeway, and the studio, Audio Achievements, is right down the freeway from my house. But between my house and Audio Achievements, there's a highway patrol station. Well, these knuckleheads didn't understand this, okay? They didn't really pay this too much attention.
Knuckleheads, who are you referring to?
I'm talking about Eazy, Dre, and probably Cube at this time. I'm not really sure if Cube was with him or not. And we all were big paintball fans. Me, Rush Parr, Dre, Yella, Egyptian Lover, Arabian Prince. Back in the day, when we went on the road, we go out to Malibu and play paintball all day long. And Eazy always wanted to go, but he never went. But he bought a paintball shotgun. And if you ever see an old school paintball shotgun, it looks like a sawed-off shotgun.
A lot of video footage of him holding that paintball shotgun, right?
Yeah. So Eazy and Dre decides it would be funny to stick this paintball shotgun out the window of their car and pointing at people's cars and shoot it. Well, if somebody sticks a gun out the window at 65 miles an hour, you don't have time to realize, is this a Smith & Wesson or is this a Daisy? I don't know, but I'm getting the hell out of the way, okay? They caused so much havoc. Somehow or another, the cops pulled up on them and they snatched them out the car, threw them on the ground, roughed them up pretty bad, okay? And today they'd been killed, okay? That shows you how times have changed. Today, they could have been shot and killed, and nobody could have said nothing, but that was stupid. Nonetheless, they didn't. They survived. They came back to my house. They were shaking like leaves on trees. I'm like, what's going on with you guys? Man, fuck the police. Fuck the police. Motherfuckers ain't shit. I said, what happened? And he says, man, all we did was ride down the street and stick the shotgun out the window. You did what? All you did was stick a paintball shotgun. They have to do us like that? Boom. So, yeah, man, when they say fuck the police, that's the first thing comes to my mind. You have kids?
I got 2 kids, man. I'm a new grandpa, too.
Oh, congratulations. Now, you raise your kids. You know how your kids are. You know your kids' habits. You know their bad habits. You know their weaknesses. I raised those guys. I know their strengths and their weaknesses. I thought it was converting from this to this. I didn't see the world accepting this because I know these guys so well. I thought they would be rejected. But shortly after the Rodney King situation,
please, we can get along here. We all can get along. We just gotta, you know. I mean, we're all stuck here for a while. Let's
fuck the police became shit. It became the damn national anthem.
Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. A young nigga got it bad cause I'm brown. And not the other color, so police think they have the authority to kill a minority. Fuck that shit cause I ain't the one for a punk motherfucker with a badge and a gun to be beaten on. And thrown in jail, we can go toe to toe in the middle of a sale. Fucking with me cause I'm a teenager with a little bit of gold and a pager. Searching my car, looking for the product. Thinking every nigga is selling narcotics. Black police showing out for the white cop.
Driving off laughing, this is what I'll say. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Fuck the police.
Did you ever have any problems at Eve After Dark, say pre-gangster rap? Anybody ever come in, try to jack you, shoot up the club? I know stuff wasn't happening out in the open like that. I mean, it was, but it hadn't multiplied yet. And people don't realize until the Colors movie came out and they were starting to glorify it a little bit that people stopped throwing fists, started picking up guns, cruising started becoming illegal everywhere after that movie. Did you ever have any trouble right before it all happened, pre-Colors?
I remember one night we had damn near a gang fight. Dre's uncle and another guy got into it in the club, and the club erupted. This is one of these times, it was like, man, 15, 20 cats fighting in the club. Maybe 10 on 10. I don't know what it was for sure. But back then, there was no gunplay inside the club. Occasionally, somebody might in the parking lot do something stupid, have a fight, or whatever case it may be, shoot a gun up in the air. But for the most part, we didn't have any real problems. Okay, some problems at some point in time they stop being real. They just become a regular activity. We have all hoods coming to the club, and crack was just making its debut on the street. And it was just like, no big deal. But all of a sudden, it became a phenomenon. Now, you don't have to be a crack aficionado to understand what I'm talking about. In the beginning, crack was made with ether, and then it was known to blow up in your face. So we didn't figure it was going to last no time. But when it became water-based and it became much less flammable, people started to get into it. And that's when you saw shit start happening. The street started to change. You watch Will Smith, you watch Michael Jackson, you see Prince, then you went to Raider gear. It was like overnight. You had people 1 minute they had the socks rolled up or the Jerry curls and the eyeliner. And next thing you know, everybody wanted to be a goddamn Raider. Everybody wanted to be a gangster. And that was one of the craziest changes I've seen in my life. And that's why I tell people that I've been doing this for such a long time. I've seen every era since 1972. When I was in high school, I've seen every era of entertainment, especially in the city of Compton in LA. I've been involved as a patron or a promoter for the past 40 years. So ain't nothing I have not seen when it comes to entertainment and giving dances and how people respond to music. And that's probably what made me such a good DJ.
All the trends. And if Tupac and Eazy were here, or what would they think of what's going on right now musically? What would they think? Would they be owning up to it? Because as I think about it, I got to own up to a lot of it, man. I was there breaking a lot of that music, just leading the way, thinking I was doing the right. And you know what, man? Now that I hear what the hell, here's a story. My son had, Outkast had that song called Peaches and Cream. Mm-hmm. Peaches and Cream. I love it when you do it in between, and all of this. And my 10-year-old son out skateboarding, he's got this shit playing in the garage, super loud. Man, and here I am upstairs, I've got my fuck the police going to, now you don't curse, son, and I come outside, I said, do you even know what the hell you're listening to? And I said, hey, it's about Peaches and Cream. I said, no, it's not about Peaches and Cream. I said, I got to talk to you, man, because, I can't be going to school being stupid. It's about oral sex. And he goes, what's oral sex? And now I'm stuck in a conversation, right? So I go, that's when, a man uses his mouth and a woman uses it and they put it on their fur, and his face turns horrified and he goes, oh my God. And I said, we sort of had the birds and the bees talk right there. And he had this freaked out look on his face. He turns around and he looks, he goes, so grandma and grandpa have done it 6 times? Because they had 6 kids. And I go, yeah, last week. And he made this face and I never heard any more Peaches and Cream or Outkast turned up in my garage. I taught him a little lesson about but I just thought about, hey, I sort of created some of this, man, especially around here because I was one of the guys that pushed so hard to play it on the radio. So
what did you say with your non-articulate, non-lyrical ass? What are you doing? It's not that I'm hating on gangster rap or anything like that, but it's hard to predict grabbing your balls, calling women bitches and hoes, actually becoming a musical genre. I mean, nowadays, cats is mumbling. They got tattoos. They got tight ass pants on. We went from Eazy, Tupac, and all this gangster era and made a 360. Now they're wearing rompers looking like Caitlyn Jenner. Come on, it's not making any sense.
Yeah, it all snuck up on us just like Napster did, right?
Yeah, right. But Napster, they have no way of shutting it down. They're not going to shut it down until somebody takes the initiative to make something happen. I really believe the reason why they don't hear good artists because they were blessed back in the day. They still had independent radio stations. Even though we had a relationship with K-Day, here at home, our breakers with no problem. We had secondary markets where they were primarily down south, various parts of down south, across the Mason-Dixon line. They would give independent artists the opportunity, the same as they did when they broke the blues artists, same people who broke R&B, gave a couple of dollars to them, and they would give you a chance to get on the radio. I remember back in the day, man, we would have to sometime travel through cornfields to radio stations. And all you would see is an antenna sticking out the corn. Okay, you pass up cow pasture cornfields, and there would be a trailer in the middle of a cornfield. But that radio station would have 50,000 watts, and because there was nothing to obscure the signal, if you got on that little small station, you were able to play gigs in the Chitlin circuit in that area, man, for weeks at a time. Back then they had the P1, P2 stations, and was hard to get on the P1s. P1s. That was like your Kiss FMs or your WBLSs in New York. But anybody can get on K-Corn, okay? Now, if you had a few dollars, you could pay an independent promoter. I remember back in the day when we were at CBS and we were going to hire independent promoters to do our Rapped in Romance album. CBS gave us $15,000 to hire independent promoters. The same day I got the check, it was a big news scandal that the same guy I was going to hire just got arrested for payola.
Ralph Tashajan.
No, Joe Iskro.
There you go. Okay, yep.
Same circle, different guy. We had just met with this guy, man, to promote our record. People don't understand how record promoters work, but you had to know somebody to be a record promoter, and it cost back then. We came up through the P2 stations, and we would eventually force P1s to pick us up. Although we didn't get the same initial coverage, we did get a lot of P1 stations, and that was a good thing. Nowadays, the records are non-product. See, back in the day, you could take 200 records, send it to a promoter. He would cash them in a distributor, take him to the radio station, take his piece for his promotion. Now there's no physical product to sell. So there's nothing you can trade in or sell to get your money. You have to either have some money or have a hot record to try and make it in the game today. The game has totally changed. Can't send them a box of files. Maybe you send them a damn card or something, but I don't know about that. Promoting the record back in the day was a whole nother animal. You had the FedEx bills, you had UPS, you had AT&T bills would run you $600-700 a month because we didn't have unlimited long distance back then. If you called from Compton to Long Beach, it was a doggone message unit. So imagine calling from California to Texas, Louisiana, and you had to do this in certain time zones, or you couldn't catch the program director. So the whole day, the whole game is totally changed. You had to have physical product to put in somebody's hand so that they can understand where you're coming from. There were no downloading files or go to my SoundCloud to check out my record. Hell no.
Hey, I hear that you were chasing around that Chitlin circuit, Swamp Dog's daughter.
Yeah. I caught her and I threw her back like a small fish.
What did Swamp Dog think about that?
He actually warned me when I came to the house, okay? Hey, you sure you want to do this? I'm like, I think so. But he was such a cool dude, man. It's amazing that I would go to her house, pick her up. He and I would start talking about record business. And sometimes I would cancel the date because I got so intrigued what he was telling me. After we broke up, I'd come by to see Swamp. Hey, what's up, baby? How you doing? And keep on walking. Nobody's business. Give a damn. Okay?
Swamp knew his kid well. Just like you said, parents know their kids.
He knew his daughter well. He knew his daughter well.
How was that behind?
Great ass. She had a great ass. She was cute.
But Daddy knew better.
Daddy knew better than I did, okay? And it took me a while to figure it out. But I knew what he was talking about. Once I knew what he was talking about, I was out of there. We was tight as pants on the hole by the end.
It was a predication, her introducing you to Swamp Dog. That was like the ruse to get in there in front of him in the first place, wasn't it?
I was going after, I was following the ass. He just became a byproduct of the ass. Is that right? Byproduct of the ass. I will never forget the first time I met Swamp Dog. She kept in the house. She's all proud of me. Dad, this is my friend Lonzo. He has a record company. He's in the World Class Wrecking Crew. And Swamp was checking me out. He's like, all right, who does the publishing? I don't know. When you get paid? I don't know.
Key questions about the record business, of course.
Who had the writers? I don't know. He said, Shell, get this dumb some bitches out of my house. He's too goddamn dumb to date my daughter. How the fuck you got a record company, fool? You don't know nothing about the goddamn record business. Come on back here. Then he called his wife. Yvonne, look at this dumb motherfucking Shell brought to the house. Oh, I felt so bad. It was ridiculous. I thought I was the shit and I felt stupid as hell. I mean, you know, I got a BMW. I got the Jerry curl. And he made me feel I could have played handball against the curb. It was like, oh my God.
Obviously, you guys are working for free or something similar. Is that why he was up your ass about it?
You know what? I was just amazing. We're talking about this again today. We were so anxious to be in the record business. We were just happy to have records out. And I remember I talk to young guys all the time. And I got to say this. I talk to young guys all the time about signing these bad deals or signing the first piece of paper somebody put in front of you. I didn't know no better. You want to give me a record deal? Okay. And I owned the company. But at that time, I didn't know to own shit. And, you know, Swamp Dog's enlightenment and teachings helped me to get myself together, and I pass it on to people right now.
Were you a teacher of DJing?
No, I never taught a DJ. Mentored hundreds of DJs because so many guys were able to watch me as they were coming up. I mean, I'm doing this back in the 70s and 80s. I developed a wannabe following. And that's how guys like Dre and Yellow came around because we were doing our thing, and we were the hot cats in the city, and everybody wanted to be around the hot guys in the city. Back in the day, man, you know, being a DJ was like sex. Have a little foreplay, and you had to work up, and then finally you drop the hot cut after about 2 or 3 hours, you know, after you worked up to it. But for the most part, you know, nowadays guys, they bust their digital nut first, then they try to wonder why nobody's dancing.
Because they already shot their wad.
Yeah, they already shot their wad.
Listen to this one right here.
Daniel Sullivan, man, he was the programmer. He was the first guy I ever saw with an Oberheim system. And back then, an Oberheim system, he might as well had a Bentley as far as the car was, you know, when it came to musical instruments. Because Oberheim, they were one of the first companies to make a drum machine, a sequencer, and keyboard that all read the same MIDI channels. Because MIDI had just been invented, and none of the stuff was really working together. Yamaha didn't work with Roland. Roland didn't work with Oberheim. So if you really wanted to make your stuff work, you had to hire and get somebody that had something that worked. And Daniel had the complete Oberheim system. He would go in and we would hire him. He did surgery. He did juice. And by the time we did juice and I was ready to do my album, I had enough money to go buy my own Oberheim system. That's where the Record Crew sound came from, the Oberheim system. And we got that for watching Daniel Sofa.
So it's pre-sample.
Pre-sample, but my boy Unknown DJ knew the people that, in fact, he was the one that introduced me to Daniel. And Daniel was so tight with Oberheim that we were able to get some sounds on the DMX drum machine through Unknown. And the 808 was around, but the 808 wasn't really interactive with no other drum machine. The synthy in the 808 is sucked to no end. So it never stayed on beat. Roll your 808 first and then play everything around it.
And you had to take 5 people to the gig back then. One person would have one piece. And
yeah, everybody had a piece of equipment. It was, although it was digital, somebody had to push a button. And it wasn't until later on we were able to get everything locked in. It was such a great time in technological history because we had the DX7, the OB8, and all locked in together. And it just made for a beautiful transition. But only problem was you had to have your 808 and the sequences backed up on a cassette tape, which was a pain in the ass, slow ass technology. It's like a fax machine.
They were using the cassette as a hard drive back then.
Right. And we were so glad when the SB12 came out with the floppy disk, but even the SB12 had to use a Atari floppy disk, which you had to go to lunch, breakfast, and dinner before it would save.
You still got that Akai MG1212?
No, I sold my Akai MG12 to my boy Fila Al, man. And Fila Al was the person behind Johnny J. Johnny J was the Latino brother that did a lot of Tupac music. And he took the SP12 and my 1200 and turned it into a whole nother musical genre. Before he passed, he gave me a lot of credit for teaching him what to do because he hung out here at the studio with Dre, and he was one of the first Latino cats that we ever dealt with outside of Crazy D from N.W.A. and it came to hip-hop.
He's dead now.
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. Wow. Crazy story behind that. He was in jail for a while, and he was on like the last 2 weeks of a 6-month sentence or something to that effect. And according to reports, he decided to take a header off of the second tier in jail.
With 2 weeks left?
2 weeks left. I mean, you done made it all this time. You can't wait 2 more weeks. Everybody has their suspicions. I can never say it on tape, but everybody got their suspicions of what may have happened.
So the flowchart doesn't go to get to Tupac any other way through NWA and Dre and all that. It actually goes through Johnny J. Your first connection is through Johnny J. and then through Dre later in the Tupac era.
Something I forgot about, man. One of my good partners, Adrian Gregory, who was also portrayed in the Tupac movie, he was my manager after Jerry Heller. In fact, Jerry Heller, he worked with Jerry Heller. According to Straight Outta Compton, Jerry Heller was carrying records. Jerry ain't never carried a record in his life, okay? When Eazy wanted to hook up with Jerry Heller, he came to Lonzo. Jerry was my manager first, and Eazy owed me some money for for studio time for Boys in the Hood, and Eazy had this bad habit of not wanting to pay people. Eazy was a crack dealer, so he treated everybody like a crackhead, okay? I ain't never smoked crack. Give me my money, okay? But Eazy, his thing was he kept his big wad in his sock and his chump change in his pocket. So he owed you some money and didn't want to pay you. He'd pat his pockets. Oh, man, all I got is $20. No, go to your sock where the real money is, okay? And I tell people all the time, once he got Ruthless Records, and if you watch Straight Outta Compton, that was the same game he played with Q, okay? Jerry became his new sock. Okay, oh man, go see Jerry. I ain't got it. Go see Jerry. Jerry, go see Eazy. They played that game back and forth till Cube got tired of it, and then he moved on.
Right. Because he's a pretty smart cat. He's not gangster. He's very well written in school. That's why he's the writer of most of the stuff.
Cube was the only guy that was a part of Crew Cut Records that was even thinking about going to college. Everybody else is high school graduate. I passed through college for a couple of years, took a couple of classes, and went to start DJing. Everybody else straight out of high school, in the record business. When you talk about Lonzo, you talking about 6 degrees of separation. I'm the Kevin Bacon of West Coast hip hop.
On your flow chart, it looks like it totally, which anybody can see. What's your website?
LonzoWilliams.com.
You still got that 633 Beamer?
No, I didn't change cars a few times since then. I had that 633.
Wait. Hold on. You got the same studio, got the same place living, the same work play. You don't got the Beamer.
Had to let the Beamer go. I got all the same stuff, but sometimes you got to upgrade.
What are you rolling in now?
Oh, man, you know what? I got a Jag. I got a convertible Cadillac I ride on Sundays. And my everyday car is a Chevrolet.
You saw the transition from normal neighborhood, Compton, which was a nice place, but got it to be in a rough place. And then even a rougher place with all of everything happening around you. How have you been able to keep yourself from not fucking up on drugs? How'd you go not that route to still have all the shit you have? Are you a good businessman?
Hell no.
So you just said good on the grind.
Man, you know what? I've been very blessed. I have been.
The fact that you still live in the same house and all that's very interesting because it's ground central for a lot of different shit. And you're still rolling. You're still eager. You're still bright-eyed and going.
Yeah, I've had the same club, man, for 30, 40 years. I just celebrated 39 years on the corner of Albano Segundo. I've had a lot of fun, man. I had a lot of good influence in my life. I was always told by the man, live below your means. And yes, I have a spike in my income from time to time. But you still got to have a 5 to 10 year buffer, dude. You know, I bought my house back in the day. I could go out and buy a $200,000 house, or worse, buy a $100,000 car. Thinking the money ain't gonna stop. Shit.
You've made those mistakes.
I made that mistake too. Don't get me wrong, but I had enough sense to learn that get a piece of money, buy you some property, and watch it grow up in value. All them chains and cars, that shit goes down. I never depended on record industry to make my money. That's just been me. I've always had several streams of income. I've owned 6 nightclubs. Over the past 20 years, I've been at the Eve After Dark, back at the Eve After Dark since 2008. I've owned the Current Affair. I've had clubs in Hollywood Park Casino. I've owned clubs outright. I've promoted several clubs. I've always learned from a lot of good businessmen. The best way to survive anything is to live 40% below your means, which means you can't go out there flossing. And that's one of the biggest things that these youngsters don't quite get. I still own my crew. I still own all my crew cut material. I own the publishing. So when somebody wants to do a licensing deal for a Dr. Dre documentary, they got to call Lonzo. They want to do footage for, a world-class record crew. They got to call Lonzo. My home studio still makes money. Back in the day, shit, I snorted up half of Peru. But I learned at an early age to take my health very seriously. I left that shit alone. I don't drink. I own a nightclub. I don't drink. I may have a drink occasionally to celebrate something for the most part. For a person who buys liquor by the cases, not to drink is like a person on a casino and don't gamble. And people don't understand that. So I've watched too many youngsters in the hip-hop game fall to the wayside from living too hard. You know, I go to the gym, I work out, so I can stay on this earth and tell these stories because I love telling these damn stories, man. This is what I do.
People love listening to them.
You know, somebody got to tell the story because what I check out, it's like a library burning down. It's stories you'll never hear again. I got a lot of buddies right now, man, so dope, just not getting out the pen from the 80s, if they going to get out. Some of them can't get out. I could have took the same chances they did. Fast money get you a long term in the pen. So now every once in a while, don't get me wrong, if one of my fellows got something that burns real good, I may indulge just to put my ass to sleep just a little bit. Anything done in moderation is okay. And that's the part I think that most cats don't understand. You can't drink a bottle of Hennessy and not drink no water. It ain't going to work.
Can't wake up with a joint in your hand in the morning.
You can't do the same thing all the time and expect not to have some type of negative results. Okay?
Tell me what songs made you the most money, Lons.
By far. Turn Off the Lights. Number 2 was Surgery. When I first got into the game, man, the first thing the old man told me, is when you get to the top of the ladder, don't forget where you came from. Don't pull the ladder up behind you. Leave it down for somebody else to climb up behind it.
What's going on with the fellas from the Wrecking Crew? You're still kicking it with Clientele, Shakespeare, everybody's still with us? I ask these questions sometimes and they go, oh, so-and-so died. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Everybody in the crew is healthy. I talked to Shakespeare. Shakespeare is a parole officer and a preacher. Clientele and I are doing shows right now. DJ Yella is touring with Eazy-E's son overseas, and Dre is making hip hop history, enjoying his money. Shit. All of a sudden, everywhere I go, I'm looking at Dre. In fact, since we since we talked last time, I've actually talked to Dre. He and I had a chance to have a one-on-one conversation. Yeah, we had a one-on-one conversation, man. I got a phone call from another buddy of mine who was telling me, who saw the article about Apple putting up this $1 billion to create new content. And I immediately thought I had to call Dre and see if he can put me in contact with somebody at Apple. I reached out for various people that I knew that had contact to Dre. And after about a day or so, I was able to get him on the phone. We had a conversation, man. And can't discuss the conversation right now because it's a little confidential. But
don't pull a Tyrese, man.
I'm not going to. No. We ain't doing that. We had a good conversation, and I'm waiting to hear back from him in another week or so, man. What he told me was, what I can say is, my name had been on came out the mouths of a couple of people in his camp. So we'll see what happens, man.
That's great, man. That's good to hear, Lons. People go their separate ways, though, don't they?
You know what? People go their separate ways, man. I don't go to Malibu that often, and he don't come to the hood. But it's all good, man. We always meet up in Hollywood someplace, so it's all good.
Wait, Malibu? I thought he was down at Slauson Swap Meet all the time.
Yeah, right. If he is, he gonna buy
it. Has he changed?
He seems a little bit more subdued than the Dre I used to know, and I guess his life has changed a lot more, man. You got that kind of money, you got you got to be responsible. The kid I knew was a wild, crazy, irresponsible cat, man. And who didn't like paying bills and wouldn't pay parking ticket or speeding tickets and kept getting warrants. But when you got in this position that he's in right now, you learn to be a little bit more
refined.
Yeah, refined. That's the word I'm looking for. Refined. Because your words can go viral. Okay, so you have to be careful what comes out your mouth, man.
Right, or not even hang with anybody. That's what these guys just probably don't even come out their house because they don't want to have to watch everything they're doing all the time.
Could you imagine, man?
No, I couldn't. Michael Jackson, I just couldn't imagine.
I mean, even if you can't answer your phone because people probably will ask you for some money. Okay, you can't tell them you don't have it. You just have to flat out either say no, and then people be pissed at you. What they say about success and money, it don't change you; it changes the people around you. And that's what I think that I've always enjoyed my anonymity or my mid-level celebrity. Okay, I can go anywhere I want to. People recognize me; they shake my hand and keep on stepping.
You mentioned the Defiant Ones. We're talking about the HBO docuseries. 4 episodes, tells the story of Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre. And you've got a piece in that Surviving Compton I saw the other day. But one of the questions I want to ask from that Michelle A. movie, Lonzo, did Dre really beat that ass all the time like that in that movie? Because I didn't think that. I thought he punched D. Barnes, and I know he was had a problem sometimes and raised his hands to women, but they look like it was giving Ike Turner a run for his money on that movie.
You know what, man? I can honestly say I have never seen Dre put his hands on a woman. Okay? I can honestly say that. Now, what he did when he got with N.W.A, I can't speak on. But far as the Dre that I knew, never done that. He might have hugged him too tight or did some other stuff to him, but it wasn't gonna be nothing violent to him. That wasn't the way he rolled. He was a lover, not a fighter.
Wrecking Crew lover, N.W.A. I guess not the brothers to fuck with. Hey, so how can they put that stuff in there? If that's not true, how do they get away with that in that movie?
They called it creative license, which means you can take some shit and lie. As long as you got the basic story, you can twist it up to make the story a little bit more appealing.
Is that how the Inquirer gets away with cover stories that are completely false?
They just straight up, they make up some shit. Alien was fucking Obama or some shit like that. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. They just make a sensationalized bullshit to sell magazines and to get you to buy some, hopefully buy some damn stock in the back of it.
Tell me about the movie, Lonzo, that you're doing on Indiegogo right now to tell your story.
I've been in everybody's documentary for the past 15, 20 years. You cannot legitimately tell the story of West Coast hip-hop without talking to or with Lonzo. But what people don't know is long before N.W.A was formed, long before gangster rap took over the airwaves or the streets of Compton, there was a whole nother music sound that ran Compton. There was a whole other vibe. And as a kid, I was a part of that vibe. And that vibe is what led me to want to become a DJ and made me want to become a club owner. I mean, as a young kid in Compton, every Friday or Saturday, there was a dance to go to in the park or at the schools or whatever. And when those things started playing out for whatever reason, I picked up that torch with the Eve After Dark and started doing my dances there and parties there. I remember all these things, and I watched the streets change. Nobody has seen the evolution of the streets of Compton up close and personal and backstage like I have. That's the story I want to tell on my documentary, Not Without Alonzo. Right now, I have an Indiegogo account that we are trying to get funded. I'm asking anybody who has a few bucks to go there and drop something in there. I appreciate it very much. We've already started shooting, but what I find is the editing is what costs all the money. So whatever you can do, I'd much appreciate it. Help me tell this story, because the story is not just about NWA. It's about what led up to NWA and the effects of NWA on the city of Compton. Not just NWA, just the crack and the gang era, because gangs have always been in Compton. Dope has always been in Compton. But it wasn't until Lonzo introduced music into the gangs till we get gangster rap. Just like when somebody tripped and fell and the peanut butter fell on the chocolate and made a Reese's Pieces. That's where I'm at. I'm the man that tripped the person that his chocolate fell on the peanut butter and made Reese's Pieces.
You're dating yourself with that. That's a whole commercial, man. Putting that bar. Now tell me this. It doesn't make sense. It's been such a limited way that your part has been told. Does that make you mad? Because me, as a 50-year-old, almost 50-year-old male, white male, I didn't come away from Straight Outta Compton thinking you were an asshole. I came away from the movie thinking that he was dealing with some kids who didn't know what the hell they were up to.
Well, you know what? It all depends on the generation of what you were born in. Okay, you being 50 years old, you understood exactly where I was coming from. I'm dealing with a bunch of kids who I have never met any of their dads before. Okay, to this day, I've never met Yella's dad. I never met Clientele's dad. I know Dre's dad, but I hadn't seen him after Dre and I got together. Me being the big brother, the only dad, not the big brother / big uncle, sometimes I had to put my foot down. And that's something that anybody in an authoritative position may have to do, no matter how cool a boss you may be, when you're put in positions that will jeopardize what you're trying to put together. You have to put your foot down. And whether you're a parent, or auntie, or whatever, the kids might not like what mama said that day. You gonna wash them damn dishes, okay? And the true story behind that situation is nowhere near what they showed in the movie. You want to hear the real story?
You better donate. Let's get that movie going.
This is why the documentary is so important. The reason what really happened that day, why I got on Dre's ass, was because at Dudo's, unlike Eve After Dark, Dudo's held 2,000 people. Eve After Dark only held 300. So when I moved from Eve After Dark, after being chased out of L.A. by the sheriff, I moved to Compton.
Wait, was that because of the My Penis episode?
This is the My Penis episode. Dre's cousin Jinx got on stage and did a song called My Penis, patterned after Run DMC's My Adidas.
Hold on, we got to get that. Hold on, let's hit it.
My Adidas, walk through concert doors and roam all over Coliseum floors. I stepped on stage at Live Aid, all the people gave and the poor got paid.
Yeah, okay.
Dre's cousin Jinx got on stage at Dudo's and did a song called My Penis. Now, because at the Dudo's, I dropped my age limit from 18 to 14 to take up that slack as far as the attendance, because it was such a much bigger club.
Even though you can let 16-year-olds in, you let 18-year-olds in, correct?
I let 18 at Eve After Dark, but me and the sheriff got into it, and they ran my ass out of Eve After Dark. And I moved around the corner to Dudo's, which is actually in Compton. The Eve is not in Compton, it's in L.A. County. It's patrolled by the L.A. sheriff. When me and the sheriff fell out and we started having problems, in fear of my life and my freedom, we decided to shut the Eve down and move around the corner to Dudo's. People thought I was crazy for her. Dudo's sits right there on the cusp of the root of Piru blood territory. Right there, the next street over is Piru. Being the kind of cat that I am, I knew how to make that work. What I did, I hired off-duty Compton PD as my security. Just so happened, one of my cousins, my first cousin, was one of the cops that worked for Compton. he put together a team to work those. Kept all the gangbangers out, had no problem. Even the gangbangers that came had a good time. But because I have police on staff right now, everything we do is being monitored by the police. Now, I never had this problem before, but all of a sudden, one of the cops pulled me to the side and says, Lonzo, I appreciate this money we're making off of you, but don't make me do my job. Well, your guy just did an X-rated song for all these kids. He did a song called My Penis for all these kids. Now, this is the 80s. We had teen dances all the time, indoors, no big deal, okay? L.A. County, you had to be 16. Right around the corner, you had to be 16.
Right.
In Compton, you could be 14. These are things I had to learn the hard way, okay? But because he did this X-rated song in front of these kids, the sheriff, the cop warned me, because he was a buddy, don't make me arrest you for contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And I'm like, huh? This is the 80s now. We ain't got to twerking yet.
We haven't got to the parental advisory sticker yet.
We ain't grabbed our balls on stage. Ain't no bitches in the holes yet.
That's right. We're not even close.
My penis is a major cry from where we were, okay? And he jams me up, and he was serious. Don't make me arrest you.
Oh, shit.
Doing illegal stuff in front of these kids. I'm like, huh? I never saw the side of the guy before. And it shocked me, but I realized, so I immediately jumped on Dre's ass. Man, what the fuck are you doing? Dre's laughing. He think it's funny. Dude, I'm the one gonna go to jail for this shit, not you. And that was the situation that they used, but they just put Ice Cube in there.
Did he have better judgment?
Who that? Ice Cube?
Yeah. Did you have a favorite song from the East Coast or a favorite group? Like, mine would be, I had a lot of the singles. I liked Nucleus a lot. And we didn't even know who the hell was coming from the East Coast because I had to go to one record store to find all my stuff. Like you guys had to go down to wherever you went to find your East Coast back in the day. I had one that serviced both. Those mixed ones would come in from New York, and then we'd have the ones that came in from you guys. The Force MDs were one of those groups.
You know what? I love the Force MDs, man, because they Force MDs, I love their music. We became buddies. We toured a lot together. Record Crew and Force MDs was like Cameo and Dramatics going on the road, okay?
Right.
We were funky. We both had ballads, and these guys they'd be out in their matching suits. They'd be doing their acrobatics or whatever. We had our steps. We were totally opposite, but we always complimented each other, and they were just a cool group to roll with. Musically, I've always been a Cool Mo D fan and an LL Cool J fan.
I love the Fat Boys.
Love the Fat Boys.
We'll rock you and you with turn parties out. Make scream and shout. We're not very demanding, but very outstanding. We got something unique, and in the middle he's standing on the microphone. He rocks and shot. Homeboys, girls, it's the human beatbox. Beatbox, 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 beatbox.
At one point in time, as the Eve got slow, I started wanting to bring in new acts. And one of the first acts I ever brought into Eve After Dark was Curtis Blow. And Curtis Blow came to town, and two things happened that day. One, Curtis realized he had a song called AJ Scratch.
Flip side of 8 Million Stories. I know that one.
2, 3, 4.
That was the cut at Eve After Dark, but it also had scratching in it, and nobody knew how that sound was being made. So DJ Yella and Dre asked Davey D how he did it.
AJ.
One for the treble, 2 for the bass. Come on, Davey D, let's rock this place.
One for the treble,
2 for the bass.
Come on, Davey D, let's rock this place, okay?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Well before its time, right?
Right. So when Davey D, he's a cool dude, man. Real cool dude. He took his turntables, set them up in my DJ booth, and showed Yella and Dre how to scratch. Okay? Now, two things happened that day. One, they know how to scratch. Two, I had to go spend $700 for some turntables. $350 a piece back then, and they $350 to $400 now, depending on which ones you get. You find stuff for $200, buy them. Okay, that's what changed West Coast hip hop. These little moves that I did paved the way for so many other things. Farmer plants his seeds. You never know how big of a forest or big of a crop you're going to yield until you look up. Oh, damn! And that's what happened. I planted seeds from 1979 up until last week, and my crop is still growing. I plant seeds every day. That's what I do. When people ask me, Lonzo, what makes you the godfather of West Coast hip hop? No one thing can I say I did that you would recognize, but I did so much. It's fucking amazing.
I appreciate you. Lonzo, yep, the architect of West Coast hip-hop on the Old School Rewind, and I'm going to play Turn Off the Lights. Tell me really quickly a little interlude about Turn Off the Lights, how Michelle A became involved and all that.
The song was never meant for her. It was meant for Mona Lisa, the same girl who sang Lovers, and Michelle A just happened to catch us. We had studio time booked. Realized Mona was gone. She was working with Kashif in Connecticut on one of his albums. Michelle A, I called her up. I remember her number. I called her up, and she said she could do it. And she did it, and that song became her signature song. And that's how Eazy discovered Michelle A on my hit record. Ain't that fucking amazing?
Give me the websites and all the social info, Lonzo.
Website, LonzoWilliams.com. Social media, everything. Real Lonzo, 2 L's, N.W.A. Real Lonzo, N.W.A. That's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check out my YouTube blog also. I do a thing called Lonzo Presents GAME. Grown Ass Man Enlightenment.
I got to go check that out. I didn't know about that.
That's my mentoring site. I mentor young men. I mentor artists. I tell them about the various games that are being played out here, whether it's child support, whether it's music industry. I drop game on all of it. Lonzo Presents GAME, Grown Ass Man Enlightenment. And also, go to my Indiegogo, N.W.A. fund. Drop something on there if you can. I appreciate it. We only got a couple weeks left, folks.
I got to tell you, Lonzo, you are the man. Can I just say that?
Thank you, Doc. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being on the Old School Rewind. Here comes Turn Off the Lights.
What's happening, baby? I'm the one who needs no introduction, 'cause I'm the world-class doctor, the master of seduction. I can heal all your ills and give you extreme delight, but only if you allow me to turn off the lights.
Shakespeare, a world-class poet. So kick back and relax yourself, baby. Let me pour you a glass of Moet. Darkness will be your blessing as I bring you extreme delight. But first, you must allow me, Shakespeare, to turn off the lights. Click.
the mixologist of the crew. And I would just love to mix bodies with you. Your lips I would kiss. Your body I would hold tight. But only if you allow me, check this out, to turn off the lights.
Before you turn off the lights, let's get one thing understood. If you want to make love to me, you've got to do it good. 'Cause I'm a hell of a woman, and for me it takes a hell of a man. So don't you dare turn on the lights, or else this you understand.
Like a male exotic dancer for you I dance, with nothing but a G-string on my hip. Your kiss and touch I'd slowly collect, for they would be my tip. As parts of your body I'd slowly kiss, and others I'd gently bite. But first you must allow me, Lonzo, to turn off all the lights.
Before you turn on the lights, let's get one thing understood. If you plan to make love to me, you've got to do it good. 'Cause I'm a hell of a woman, and for me it takes a hell of a man. So don't you dare turn on the lights, unless this you understand. Don't turn on the lights, unless you let me ride. You hear what I'm saying? 'Cause boy, I'm not playing. Don't turn on the lights, unless you make no stand.
This is the Old School Rewind. Share and subscribe now at oldschoolrewind.com.